Welcome back to Petology. I'm one of your hosts, Blair Malestravich, and our other host, Dwayne Dahl. Thanks for coming back. We have our expert panel here. Of course, we have trainer Sammy Marr, and we have Vet Corey. That's what I'm going to call you now.
Okay.
I'm
all right with that. Yeah.
But we actually have one other guest. Who is this, Sammy?
This is Cookie.
Cookie. Now, Cookie is a bird.
Cookie is a bird,
Oh,
yes.
no,
yes.
I don't think so. What is
Beautiful
Cookie?
feather. Cookie is a mastiff.
Okay.
Cookie's a mastiff. He's about 4 years old. He weighs about 100 and some pounds.
Oh.
And he wanted to come on here and talk with us, chat with us.
See? Totally chilled out. Calmer than I am.
You have that effect on dogs. It's good.
Right? Well, when we're going through the show,
Feeling
we
it.
talked about a lot of things. We had a Halloween theme where we're talking about how some things can be scary for dogs, such as foods and things like that. We had creepy crawlers on. We had candy. We had lots. We had black cats. We had everything fear-oriented. So what we're going to talk about now is we're going to go to Sammy and ask her, how can you identify fear in your pets, in your animals? Obviously, in your case, it's canines. But how can you, I can't tell. I walk up to dogs now, I'm fearless, but I used to be terrified, but now I'm wondering how the dogs are feeling.
Yeah. Well, I think there's certain things where most people, you can tell the dog is terrified. Their tail's totally tucked, they're shaking in a corner, their eyes look like they're gonna pop out of their head. So those are really some of the telltale signs that's very clear. But he actually, I think, is a great example. You might look at this dog right now and go, this guy's totally chill. He's relaxing on the couch. But if you look at his respiratory rate and the way he's panting, I can tell he's a little bit stressed. Right? So, and stress, fear, they kind of overlap. So even though he looks totally chill, there's a bit of stress going on, which I can't blame him. We came to this new place, all these cameras, people all over the place. So this would be kind of one sign that's not as obvious. Another thing that really stands out is when the hair on their back comes up. A lot of people think that's aggression. That's actually a fearful behavior. Now, with dogs, a lot of time fear can lead to aggression, right? Because they're scared, so they're better off to bite you to get you away than let you come close. So seeing that hair stick up on the back of the neck is another telltale sign that they can be scared.
Now, a lot of things too is I have a big melon. I have a big head. I have a huge head. Cookie
So does
also
he.
has a huge head, right? Now, do people automatically, do you associate size of the dog with the amount of fear a person should have?
No, I don't think so. I think actually Chihuahuas are much more terrifying than big guys. I have 4 of them, so I'm a Chihuahua lover. But no, I think it's absolutely, personal preference, whether people like small dogs or big dogs, and whether a dog can be friendly, small dog or big dog. I think a lot of times in small dogs, they are sometimes more fearful because they're tiny. If you have this little Chihuahua and someone's always reaching out to it and trying to pick them up and those kind of things, those dogs kind of hey, back off, I'm tiny. It can be scary for them, so they, can be more scared.
Yeah, and people oftentimes, if they have a small dog, they may not focus on the training as much.
Yes,
where if a
hugely.
small dog wants to nip, they don't necessarily see it as being a big deal,
Yes.
the way that they will with a 100-pound dog.
Yes.
So sometimes the little dog isn't getting the training to not do those kind of behaviors that a big dog would be getting. So you might be more likely to be bitten by a small dog, especially because they tend to be carried around at face level a lot more, and so they're a lot closer to people's faces where a person can come right up and get very close and confrontational with them the way they might not with a bigger dog.
Yeah, because Sammy knows. I know Sammy for a while. She knows when I first started this job at Shaw in general, not just here on Petology, that I walked into a room with about 50 dogs and I was like, well, this is the end. It's over. And it
Said
turns
a little
out
prayer.
I made
That's
50 new furry friends that day, so it was definitely great. But a lot of things you talked about, one of the things you mentioned was stress. I was high stress in that situation, right? Now, the dogs are a lot of stress, and sometimes being on a leash,
Bless you. Bless you.
Did you have a point, Cookie?
Yeah, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, that was important. It's not your show. So when we're talking about, there's certain situations that could add to stress. Me, because I'm out there and a big person and I'm in your face. Yeah. Did I spit on you?
I'm hoping not.
Okay.
I got a bit on me here, man.
But when people run in and they do that, especially with dogs on leash, I've noticed that can be a different thing. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. I mean, we always hear the expression that dogs can smell our fear. Right, they smell your fear, but realistically, dogs can smell all the changes in our bodies. So whether we're stressed or anxious or fearful or happy, dogs can sense that. And what happens a lot on leash is as we're with our dog and approaching whether it be another person or another dog, we tense up. We tense up on that leash. We get nervous, and then the dog reads that and goes, "Oh, okay, I should be nervous now too." So it's important as an owner that you be relaxed, but also be responsible. If you have a dog that has been exhibiting aggression, don't take it to the dog park and be like, "I'll be happy, so the dog will be fine." You know, that's where wrong, exactly. It doesn't work quite that well, but hugely how you're feeling can impact a dog.
Well, and there's a responsibility too towards just the general public that we need to be just as educating the public that it's not always okay for a person to just run up and start petting a dog. The smart thing to do is always, and especially with kids, always ask first, is it okay to pet your dog? Is it okay for me to come up and pet your dog? Because that gives the dog owner the opportunity to say, you know what? He's not great with kids, maybe just stay back. Or this dog is a little grumpy, maybe the other dog instead, kind of thing. And that way, there's a lot of potential damage that can be avoided.
So now as we're moving through with all this knowledge just coming at us, we're gonna take a question. We have a voicemail coming in, let's have a listen.
Let's do it.
I have a question about my dog. He is a 7-year-old Ridgeback German Shepherd cross. He's about 90 pounds of awesomeness. But in the spring, we live out in the country, and he gets a lot of wood ticks. And I was just wondering if there was any way we can do like a natural remedy without using chemicals to keep wood ticks off of him. Okay, thank you. Bye.
It's a very serious question. Of course, not only do the wood ticks affect us, but it also affects our animals. Let's talk about that.
There definitely are natural options as opposed to chemical options, and a lot of people kind of steer towards the natural stuff to avoid those harsh chemicals in the house. If it's something that's put on the dog's skin, if you're now petting the dog and rubbing your eyes, sticking your fingers in your mouth, I don't know what you're doing, but now that's coming into you. Also interaction with certain pets. You probably know specifically what I'm talking about, but I know there is one treatment that if cats go near it, it actually can kill them. So going to something more natural is definitely a good option.
See, I would probably, I'm not in complete disagreement with you, but for sure there are natural ways. I mean, just a great basic one is vigilance, right? If your dog is going outside on a daily basis when he comes in, just feel him down and check him for ticks. You can catch them before they've attached or after they've only been attached for maybe an hour or two, so they really haven't had a chance to be feeding for a while, and you're getting right in there before there's any possibility for disease transmission there. So, I mean, there are a lot of products out there that can have, antiparasitics, but there are some that are not necessarily going to be present topically on the animal, where you're going to have to worry that that anyone's going to be ingesting anything. And really, for a lot of the products, it's going to boil down to what are you comfortable with in terms of how effective will it be? Because I mean, there are certain things that are going to be more effective than others. 50% effective can be great, but if you're in a heavy tick burden area, 97% effective may be a lot better, right?
See, the great thing about this is a discussion. This is what we always say. This is a discussion with our experts, and Dwayne and I, not quite experts, but this is important to say. It's all about, again, it's about educating and making that decision for your dog and deciding what you think is the best plan. We have an email question coming up. So this is from Rachel. It says, my cat sometimes gets so excited about her food, she eats it really fast and ends up throwing it back up. How can I get her to slow down?
Well,
I know I looked at you. I'm like, tell me.
Dog.
I thought you were like looking at me. I was getting
I can jump
scared
right in
here.
on it if you want. I'm
You
ready.
can go.
I'm ready to go on that one.
go.
So, yeah. Okay.
Let her
So,
he's excited
Bless you.
too.
the throwing up is actually, it's not abnormal, is what I would say, because cats don't have a huge stomach, and if she's wolfing all of the food down within 30 seconds, that is a big volume of food that she's suddenly trying to shove into a very small space, and it's just too much for the stomach, and so they need to kind of shrink things down a little bit, and the way it's going to happen is push some of that food back out, so it's not stretching the stomach out too much, and that's why they vomit it back up. But you can slow them down, and if they pace themselves, then they will be a lot better off. A lot of times what we will suggest is when the food's down in the bowl, maybe depending on the size of the cat, put maybe a couple of ping pong balls or tennis balls into the bowl with the food. They actually have to slow down to nose the ball out of the way and sort of push it off to the side so they can get that other piece of kibble. So it is forcing them to pace themselves a little bit so it's not all getting in there there, lightning fast.
Because I know there are special dishes for
Yeah.
dogs that have the space in the middle. Because some dogs will eat the bowl. I mean, if you just put it down. So it's interesting that you can find that for cats too.
Yeah, and they make the little sort of food dispensers as toys as well, where if you want your cat to be
those
more
are
active,
excellent.
you can put the cat's food into the toy, and then during the course of the day, they're chasing that ball around and knocking it around to try and get food dispensed, and that's another great way of slowing things down and forcing them to pace themselves. So
Now, the thing I love is, first of all, sorry, I gotta stop because Cookie is so relaxed here. It's like a TV star right here. He's more relaxed than any of the other guests on the show.
I want
you guys
what
are
he's
fantastic.
having. I really want what it's having. It's
This was Dwayne before the show
It's
started.
true. It
actually.
really is.
He was just a
It's-
little less hairy, and other than that, it was.
I wouldn't go that far, pal. I would not go that far.
But this is so great. This is an example of the size really doesn't matter. When
Yeah.
you see he's sort of found his space here, and he's relaxed, and of course is adorable. Obviously, as you know, it's your dog.
Well,
Now,
you know what? He actually is a rescue dog that I've only had for a few weeks.
look at that.
And he is from Earth Dog Terrier Rescue. And they actually took him, got him fixed up, neutered him, and then he went up for adoption. And I snagged him up. So he's this is a rescue dog.
Perfect. See, look at that. Adorable. Now, I'm going to talk about adorable again. That was my segue. You like that?
There you go.
We're going to go back to talking about...
2 in one night.
Right? I know, Dwayne. This is how a professional does it. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
We're going to talk about pets, and we have some more great photos that you guys sent in through Facebook or social media. This one is, first of all, the name of this dog is amazing. This is from somebody that I know actually sent all the way from Australia. The dog's name is Phil Collins, which is brilliant. It was sent by Emma. Now dressed as a pirate, obviously. That dog doesn't look jazzed about it, but Phil Collins never really looked that jazzed half the time anyways.
Coming in the air tonight
So
there.
this one is great. This is Penny again. This was, if we remember from before, this was the photo of the dog that was as a banana split, and now it's as a lobster. Totally cute. Let's do one more pet photo, and then we'll. See, this is great. This is Hershey, sent by Leanne, and Keith, dressed as, I think it's Dog Dracula. I could have
That's
got
a
it wrong, but it
Dracula,
looks
yeah.
like
Dracula.
Dracula.
Looks like it, yeah.
And let's move on to the next one. Oh yes.
It's our Halo Chihuahua.
And see, Bonnie has some great photos. That's the thing. All these great photos is just as a princess. This one's so great. This is Davidson, sent by Sarah. I'm going to tell you guys, because I'm kind of nerdy, that this is Michelangelo, the Ninja Turtle. Now, again, all these photos got up because they emailed us at createtv@shaw.ca. We have lots more coming up in future episodes. Hopefully, experts will see you guys again. Thank you very much, Dwayne, for taking part.
Thanks for having me.
Volunteering, you can call us here at Shaw. You can email us at createtv@shaw.ca. And we will see you next time on Petology.